Hello students, welcome to the comprehensive revision program that we are planning for corporate level auditing, your auditing subject which is to be happening. The exams are also approaching close by and nearby. Students, I am your lecturer Nilendra Vithanage. Today we are starting the 2024 December paper discussion. With that we are launching the revision session, the question session for your corporate level auditing the subject. Students, once again we are warmly welcoming you for the trust that you placed on us. And this program, students, you ask from anyone, right, is the most trusted and highest result yielding program for auditing that is there anywhere in the country. And students, the students who are joining us are basically from Colombo. Some students are joining us from outstations, and a lot of students are joining from overseas as well. So people who are joining from Maldives, from Middle East, from Qatar, from sometimes students Dubai, from Saudi, some from African countries like Botswana, Malawi. So all of you are welcome, students. Sometimes some are joining from Australia. So everybody, welcome. So this is the place where you get through auditing. So everybody, based on the positive feedbacks we received from last time, students, where we had quite a significant amount of pass rates, where we have shared the student testimonials as well, we launched CL1 Advanced Audit and Assurance Program today itself. So this program, the questions discussion, students, will help you. Whatever the syllabus structure that is there, students, these auditing questions will be as same because these are all standards based questions. So based on those standards, whatever the syllabus you are, right, you are in the 2020 syllabus, or maybe you are studying for the 2025 syllabus, or whatever, these questions will be useful for all of you. The beauty of our program is, students, our program is structured in such a way through the questions, be it, let's say, past paper questions or model questions, or maybe mock examination papers which we are going to do. Through these questions we are going to discuss, students, the fine theory points of yours. The theories will be discussed through these questions. That's the benefit. Ask from your friends, students, who have followed this program. We have made sure people who are doing this exam for 14 years continuously, who were unable to pass, we made sure they pass through this revision session. And also, students, some students who are with kids, right, even after marriage, who are with 2 to 3 kids, pass this exam. That's the ultimate satisfaction of myself as well. And also, students, there were prize winners as well who came out from our programs. And also, students, this program helpful for people who are going to audit firms. Be it you are working in commercial sector, no problem at all. We are making sure everybody of you get equal treatments, equal knowledge. And also, students who are doing university education, who are studying full-time chartered, you all will be covered in this program, right? So whatever your knowledge level which you have, maybe you would have earlier done AAT, maybe you would have earlier done chartered business level, executive level, CAP 1, CAP 2, foundation, intermediate, whatever, right? Our program is suited, will give you the necessary knowledge that to pass your exam. Okay, students, so without taking much of your time, we are moving on to the paper CL1, that is corporate level, December 2024 paper. With the students, while we are discussing the question, let's try to identify the fine theory points as well. Through this we will learn. So whatever your theory knowledge right now is, we will make sure that through this revision questions program, you are passing the exam. Good luck to all of you. Let's see. Look at this, students. Question number 1. Sunet, Prasad and Niresh established HV Private Limited. It's a private limited, right? Private limited, with Niresh holding a 40% stake. Sunet is the CEO, Prasad the COO. With Niresh holding 40% stake. Niresh is a shareholder having 40% share ownership. Sunet is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. He is an executive person. And Prasad is Chief Operating Officer. He is also executive. Those people are operational people in the organization. And Niresh is a non-executive director. The guy who owns 40% is a non-executive director. Non-executive, that means he is not involved in day-to-day operations. He is a non-executive. Day-to-day operation karande naha. He is sitting outside, but he's a director, non-executive. He is not operating executively. But Sunet and Prasad are executive ones. Sunetui Prasadui lamai executive kattiya. See, the executive directors are entitled to performance-based compensation. Executive directors are entitled for performance-based compensation. They are entitled for performance-based compensation where based on their performance they will be paid bonus, salary advances, allowances, performance-based. It is proposed to appoint an independent auditor for HV. Independent auditor also proposed to be appointed. So, two executive directors are there, CEO and COO. CEO inno lamai COO inno. And they are entitled for performance-based pay. එයාලට ළමයි performance-based pay එකක් එන්න තියෙනවා. What is the key consideration regarding the appointment of independent auditor for HV? What is the key consideration for appointment of independent auditor for the company? See, it is common to have an independent auditor to reduce the burden on the shareholders and management in financial reporting. Students, independent auditor, the audit firm, is not appointed to, let's say, reduce the burden on the shareholders. It's not that they do something that the shareholders are doing. Independent auditors are doing, they are providing an opinion on the financial statements. They are providing an assurance, right? They are providing an assurance. It's not that they are taking part of the responsibility of the management or the shareholders. So A is out. A adala naha lamai. The auditors will provide assurance on internal controls. Auditors will provide an assurance on internal control and improving the control environment. Students, are we providing assurance on internal controls for improvement of internal controls? No. We do not provide assurance on controls. We are providing an opinion about the financial statements. We are providing a reasonable assurance about the financial statements, whether they are prepared free from material misstatements. ඒක ළමයි free from material misstatements කියලා බලලා ඒකේ assurance එකක් දෙන්නේ. We are not providing assurance on what? Internal controls. Control assurance will be a separate assignment. It is not external audit. External audit එකේ අපි ළමයි controls ගැන assurance දෙන්නේ නැහැ. So the 2 also out. B also out. By appointing an auditor, Sunet and Prasad, the executive directors, fulfill their accountability to Niresh. Agree or not? Good governance. Accountability. Because why? Niresh, being a 40% shareholder, he should get an assurance that the financial statements prepared by these two gentlemen, Sunet and Prasad, are free from material misstatements. Niresh should get an assurance. He is a shareholder, 40% shareholder. He is not involved in the operations. So he should get an assurance whether my money is safeguarded, whether the financial statements prepared by these two gentlemen are free from material misstatements. That accountability is executed through auditing. So answer should be C, students. Answer C. See next one. The appointment of auditor demonstrates HV's commitment to its growth strategy. Auditor dala growth strategy නෙමෙයි ළමයි. Audit is to what? Provide an assurance, reasonable assurance that the financial statements, not internal controls, financial statements are free from material misstatements. So answer is C. මේකේ උත්තරේ ළමයි answer එක C. Here the answer is C. Get it? So anybody writing down answers? 1.1 answer is C. 1.1 එකේ answer එක C. So have a quick look ළමයි. එකපාරක් බලන්න හැමෝම මේක දිහා. Right. Shall we go to second question? And in the meantime, students, a quite quick message to all of you, right? Podi message jaga. Where if any of you have a kind of a doubt on these theory areas, me theory sambandha doubt එකක් තියෙනවා නම් anytime you can ring me, get your matters sorted out. My phone numbers are working for all of you. You have my number 077 2281915. 077 You can anytime call me. You can get your matters sorted as well from myself. And in the meantime, students, still if you have a doubt about your theory, okay, theory ගැන doubt එකක් තියෙනවා sir මට theory මතක නැහැ එහෙමනම් then students at that time you have to go and watch the theory videos as well. Theory ගැන doubt එකක් තියෙනවා නම් theory videos උත් බැලුවට කමක් නැහැ. If you are doing the exam for quite a few time, better this time you finish your exam itself. Okay, question number 2. Look at it. G-Tech PLC. It's a share market listed company. G-Tech PLC, G-Tech is a company listed in Colombo Stock Exchange, CSE. 60% of its shares are owned by a high net worth individual like Mr. Dhammika Berra or Mr. Harry Jayawardena passed away. 60% shares are owned by high net worth individual. The company is under investigation for possible environmental regulations violations concerning CO2 emissions at its manufacturing plant. So there is a pending, what you call, ongoing investigation against the company for violating environmental laws. Following the announcement of this investigation, the CEO resigned and G-Tech's share price has declined. Now this announcement has come in that the investigation is going, CEO resigned, share price plunged. The company has approached A&A Associates, a firm of chartered accountants with prior experience in assurance engagements for clients listed on Colombo Stock Exchange. So the audit firm was approached by this company where the auditors having previous experience about working with these type of clients to perform an assurance engagement. So the requirement is performing an assurance engagement on its CO2 emissions. CO2 emissions assurance engagement. Right? So see, the company has approached A&A Associates audit firm, a firm of chartered accountants with prior experience in assurance engagements for clients listed on Colombo Stock Exchange to perform an assurance engagements on CO2 emissions, not on financial statements assurance lamai, it's CO2 emissions assurance. So this is basically assurance on what? If it is financial statement assurance, you may go ahead with what? Reasonable assurance, high level of assurance, you could have gone with statutory financial audit. But here you can't do. Since the customer requests for an assurance, we may consider giving a limited assurance through a review engagement. ඒක තමයි බලන්න ඕන අපි. A&A has no prior relationship with G-Tech and has no experience in such engagements as well. The assurance report is also required by G-Tech within a very short period of time. Pending investigation, inquiry going on, very short period of time. This assurance report is needed. And also A&A, the audit firm doesn't have no previous relationship, no understanding about this client as well. So no proper background information audit firm right now has. And also report is quickly needed. And G-Tech, the client doesn't have this kind of engagement experience as well. So we have some bottlenecks. මේ වැඩේට bottlenecks කීපයක් තියෙනවා. Which of the following should be A&A consider as important before accepting the above engagement? මේ engagement එක accept කරන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා A&A, the auditors, what do they consider? Now there are some threats to this particular engagement because no prior experience for the client, no proper engagement with the client and the auditor previously, and the report is also needed quickly, and there is a pending inquiry going on in the government authority. So that kind of issues are there. G-Tech is listed on the Colombo Stock Exchange and owned by a high net worth individual. So which of the following should A&A audit firm consider important before accepting the above engagement. May engagement එක accept කරන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා with all these issues, what are the things that the auditors have to consider? Auditor consider කරන්න ඕන මොනවද? A. GTech is listed on the Colombo Stock Exchange and owned by a high net worth individual. It should be considered, but I don't think it's a major thing that you need to consider. ඒක consider කරන්න ඕන නම් හැබැයි මෙච්චර major issue එකක් කියලා කියන්න මං හිතන්නේ නැහැ. Look at B. ANA has not performed engagements relating to CO2 emissions before and has no prior relationship with GTech in performing any audit and assurance related engagements. But this part is incorrect. Auditors has not performed engagements related to CO2 emissions before. No. ඒක වැරදි. Auditors have this kind of engagement experience, right? The company is under blah blah blah. The company has approached ANA Associates, a firm of chartered accountants, with prior experience in assurance engagement for clients listed in CSC. I think auditor එක තියෙනවා ළමයි. එතකොට B එකත් වැරදි, right? ANA has not performed engagement related to CO2 emissions before and has no prior relationship. Yes, that's correct. එතකොට part එකක් විතරයි හරි. B out. The inexperience of ANA and the client doesn't have any relationship previously. So no prior experience about the client. No, the inexperience of ANA, the urgency to complete the engagement, and the ongoing investigation on violation of environmental regulations. What's the answer? C neither. This is what audit firm ANA has to look for. No prior experience with the client, pending investigation, quick deadline, we have to critically consider. D. The CEO of GTech has resigned and the share price of the company declined after the announcement of the investigation. That should be considered, but not to the level of C. So answer is C. The inexperience of ANA with the client, the urgency to complete the engagement, and the ongoing investigation on violation of environmental investigation. So students, this area comes from assurance engagements. In theory, we discuss this in detail. We have to identify which type of assurance it is required. Is it reasonable assurance? Is it limited assurance? Make a reasonable assurance, limited assurance. We got to consider all. And some engagements are there like due diligence or compilation. Due diligence, compilation, which the auditors do not provide any assurance. So, due diligence, compilation, review, audit, right? Agreed upon procedures, all these you should take into consideration when you are answering these. So, if you are not conversant it, look at the study pack. If not, look for the theory videos as well. Question B, answer C. Look at question 3. Read it, students, everybody. හැමෝම කියවන්න බලන්න. Question 3 එක. Okay, let's move to question number 3. Look at it. This comes from the topic of digitalization of an audit, right? This is also an area we do vastly, and this is the current scenario in auditing, not future, right? Good old days we used to say digitalization is the future. Now it's not. Digitalization is the current scenario in auditing. Concepts like audit data analytics, right? ADA. Concepts like machine learning, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, blockchain, right? Cloud computing, cloud accounting, right? Cloud-based working papers, students, all these are now current, not future, right? AI is current. You use all these AI tools now. Okay, even you, even myself, we all use. So AI, digitalization, robotics, machine learning, all these are current. See, iShop is an e-commerce company. It handles many transactions daily from various markets and countries. E-commerce platform can like Temu or maybe what? Like AliExpress, right? Amazon.com, e-commerce platform like Daras in Sri Lanka. Similarly, iShop collect information about customer purchases, social media activities of customers, and customer feedback. Collect information about customer purchases, customer media activities, social media activities, and customer feedbacks. Such pool of data is used to improve customer satisfaction by predicting customer preferences and recommending personalized products. So you pool customer data and you predict customer buying patterns. Predict. You do certain analysis on it. ඔයාලම මේක බේස් කරලා පොඩි analysis ටිකක් කරනවා. You are doing certain analysis. The above is an example of the use of robotic process automation? No. Students, robotic process automation means using robotic software to perform a repetitive task. To perform a homogeneous task, you use a robotic software. Like sending set of emails or sending set of reminder letters to customers. Robotic process automation. Running daily reconciliation of receivables ledger together with the receivables individual accounts. Daily reconciliations, repetitive work, robo will do. Big data analytics? Yes, that's the answer. Analysis of customer buying patterns, analysis of social media activities, and predicting for future, that involves some analysis, that involves some computation, that involves some trend analysis. Data analytics. Pool of data is big data. Pool of data is big data. This is not big data. This is actually you analyze the data. So simple compute operations, no, it use certain tools. Computer assisted auditing techniques. It's what? It's not auditing technique. It is a data analytics tool. So answer is big data analysis. Answer is C. Go to 1.4 everybody. හොඳට බලා ගන්න. මේ digital පැත්තෙන් ලකුණු සාමාන්‍යයෙන් හොඳ ගාණක් එනවා, right? So everybody be prepared for it. Go to 1.4 everybody. Look at 1.4. See, which of the following correctly explain the key difference between a reasonable assurance report and a limited assurance report? Discussed. Following correctly explains what's the key difference, right? Key difference between reasonable assurance and limited assurance report. What is it? Reasonable assurance, high level of assurance, limited assurance, low level, limited level of assurance. See, a reasonable assurance report, like an audit report, statutory audit report, provides a higher level of assurance compared to limited assurance report. That's the answer. Answer is A. B. A limited assurance report provides the same level of assurance as a reasonable assurance report, but at a lower fee. No. Reasonable assurance report provides a lower level of assurance compared to a limited assurance report. No. Reasonable assurance report what? Higher level of assurance. Both reasonable assurance report and limited assurance report provide negative assurance. No. Reasonable assurance means, students, we perform a lot of work. Like statutory audit, we do audit planning, we do test of controls, we do gathering audit evidence. By doing all these, we bring down the audit risk in order to provide a higher level of assurance. That's reasonable assurance which we normally provide in a statutory annual audit. In a student's review engagement which needs quick solutions from the auditor, where we perform inquiry and analytical procedures, only few procedures, so bit of a risk, high risk we accept, so therefore we provide a lower level of assurance. We normally provide review situations where the quick reports are needed, where we can't proceed with lengthy audit procedures, at that time limited assurance report. So answer is A, high level of assurance in reasonable assurance. So assurance topic එකේ videos බලන්න ළමයි. එහෙම නැත්නම් study pack හොඳට බලන්න. Look at the study pack. This is a key area, assurance. C 1.5. Look at it. FinX Private Limited. FinX Private Limited is a financial service company. It recently experienced the multiple phishing attacks targeting its employees. These are cyber security issues. Multiple phishing attacks targeting its employees. These attacks aim to steal sensitive login credentials by sending emails to employees, allowing attackers to access confidential information. So, email-borne attack. Maybe kind of these criminals sending emails to employees of the organization where email comes from outside the organization. Email comes where maybe a link given. If you download that link, maybe automatically virus software will be downloaded. Or maybe link asking some sensitive data from the employees. Maybe passwords, maybe OTPs, maybe usernames will be requested. Likewise, email-borne phishing attack. Email-borne attack. Sometimes this email address may be a look-alike email of one of the colleagues of the organization. Organization එකේ ඔයත් එක්ක වැඩ කරන එක්කෙනාගේ email එකට සමාන විදිය email එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Kind of. Allowing attackers to access confidential client information. These attackers can get confidential client information. The management is concerned about the potential exposure of data, because if an employee expose the data, provide this data of clients to this email, students, that's a kind of a data breach. So it will result in critical legal and regulatory issues on the company. Which of the following controls would be the most effective in addressing the cybersecurity risk posed by phishing attack, which normally comes through email? Email comes as a friend of yours email වගේ එන්නේ. One or two letters will be different. Maybe Ranga Pereira කියන එක Ranga Pereiras කියලා දාලා email එකක් හදලා එවනවා. Likewise, right? How do you safeguard yourself for phishing attacks like there, where employees may expose data for email-borne attacks, where links will be downloaded, data will be provided to these links වගේ ඒවා. A, ensuring that what? Spam filters are enabled on all email accounts of employees. Now this email, you have a spam filter, no? So better to open it up. Spam filter open කරලා තිබුණා. Spam filters will capture these, because these perpetrators will send bulk emails. Spam filters can pick that. බලමු spam filter ට වඩා වෙන හොඳ එකක් තියෙද බලමු. B, restricting access to physical servers to prevent unauthorized access. Students, that's also a control, but that's not relevant for this phishing attack. Server එකට physical access නවත්තලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Installing firewalls to ensure computer network is protected. Not the network, right? මේ email නවත්ත ගන්න එකයි ඕන. නැත්තම් network එක safeguard කරා කියලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ ළමයි. You should safeguard your emails. Installing antivirus software to prevent malicious software being downloaded. Antivirus දාලා හරියන්නේ අපේ මිනිස්සු මේ data disclose කරන එක නවත්තන්න ඕන. So to stop the emails. Answer is ensuring that spam filters are enabled on email, on all email counters. So look at it, everybody. හොඳට බලන්න. Got it? හරිනේ වැඩේ. right? So shall we move to next one? Now see, these MCQ questions also, students, easily you can answer, right? What a knowledge upgrade you can upgrade your knowledge as well. So we are supporting you, right? See, look at 1.6, everybody. Finbank has been an audit client of ABC Chartered Accountants for the past 6 years. Finbank is a client of ABC Chartered Accountants for the past 6 years. Long-standing relationship. We have to see whether there is a familiarity building up as ethical issue. You work at ABC and you are the audit manager in the audit of Finbank. You work in audit firm ABC and you are the audit manager of Finbank. The CEO of Finbank approached you requesting your support to prepare a cyber security compliance review report to be submitted to the regulator. So cyber security compliant report should be submitted to the regulator. Make a different assignment, right? Make a venom assignment. You are the audit manager. So basically, students, someone other than the audit manager has to do, right? Audit. This is not assurance work, no. Assurance ka kill nahi. The CEO of the Finbank approached you and requesting your support to prepare a cyber security compliant review report, right? Review report maybe students some sort of assurance may be requested, or else just to evaluate what is there. Is that what you call company is compliant with cyber security issues to be submitted to the regulator. So ideally it's a different work other than audit. Audit make something that is outside audit. You have determined that it is a permissible non-audit service to an audit client. You have determined it. Now you ask from your quality assurance manager, you ask from the quality assurance manager, he also cleared it. Yes, you can go ahead. What would be an inappropriate ethical safeguard for ABC to consider when conducting cybersecurity compliant review? What would be what? An inappropriate ethical safeguard. Make it an inappropriate ethical safeguard. Not the appropriate. Inappropriate. Mark the words. See. A. Availability of documented policies and procedures enabling identification of interests and relationships between the audit firm's team and the client. So basically audit firms should have laid down policies and procedures to identify independence issues, right? Independence issues identify karan. Maybe sometimes a particular audit team member may not be independent with the client, maybe having a family relationship, maybe having a financial interest of investing in the shares. So there should be proper laid down safeguards to identify such issues and disclosure of them. First one is that the issue client is asking for a non-audit service which is permitted. So for that safeguard he is asking. Appoint the audit partner in charge of Finbank's audit. Appointing of the audit partner who is responsible for Finbank audit. Finbank audit partner. Finbank audit to be responsible for overseeing quality control over the cyber security compliant review engagement. That's a danger. Now audit partner is a statutory audit partner. Audit partner is statutory audit partner. The emanusyava make a quality control what will happen if that guy is appointed as the quality control partner? Then you have an issue. You have a quality control partner, he has a self-review threat. And also he has a self-interest threat as well. Because too much close with the client and familiar. So you won't get that particular quality control at that time. So the answer should be B. The inappropriate one, no. Inappropriate. A partner, engagement partner, quality review partner. So it's inappropriate. Answer should be B. Conduct appropriate training for the staff and partners of ABC on the code of ethics and the impact of ethical breaches. Yes, you got to do. Use a different engagement team from the audit engagement team to perform cybersecurity compliant review. D, yes, that should be done. So what should not be done is inappropriate is appointing the same partner to become the quality control partner there. Self-review, threat, self-interest is there. Answer is B. B එක තමයි ළමයි answer. තේරුණා නේද? Okay, ethics, right? Question comes from ethics. Code of ethics also, every time it is tested by the examiner. So be prepared for it. Go to 1.7, everybody. BOFE Associates. BOFE Associates, a firm of chartered accountants, started updating its internal policy manual on applying the conceptual framework approach for auditor independence and evaluating non-audit services. So this firm of chartered accountants, the audit firm, has started up with students evaluating conceptual framework, started implementing conceptual framework for their work for auditors independence and evaluating non-audit services. That is code of ethics they are applying for the firm. So you need to identify the threats to independence. Threats to independence identify karanna on lamai, implement proper safeguards for them, identify situations that will create threats to independence, identify those. So that kind of a robust ethical issues, robust quality control issues need to identify. Robust ethical issues, robust quality control issues lamai identify karanna on. Has to identify. Right. Which of the following is not part of the conceptual framework approach? මේවයින් conceptual framework approach එකේ part එකක් නොවෙන්නේ මොනවද? What is not a part? Right? C. A. Types of non-audit services that can be provided by an auditor to audit clients without impacting auditor independence. Yes, conceptual framework has laid down set of non-audit services like tax administration work, like students maybe corporate company secretarial work. Conceptual framework critically says these will not impact auditor independence because those are totally administrative work. Conceptual framework has stated that. So ඒක තියෙනවා. So it's a part of the conceptual framework. So examiner asking not part of it, no. So like non-assurance services, non-audit services, conceptual framework clearly says these kind of work like tax administration, like company secretary work, these will not have impact on your ethics. So it's not the answer. B, the safeguards that can be applied to eliminate or reduce the threats to auditor independence. Yes, conceptual framework clearly stated auditor threat and safeguard both. Threat එක safeguard එක ඔක්කොම කියලා තියෙනවා. So B is also part of it, so not an answer. C, identifying threats to auditor independence by performing non-audit services to an audit client. Yes, it has identified what are the threats to your independence if you do non-audit services. Like familiarity, like let's say self-review threat, said. Look at D. Evaluating the significance of threats the auditor to audit independence to determine whether such threats are acceptable. That has to be done by, not by the conceptual framework, right? So evaluate significance of threats to independence to determine whether such threats are acceptable or not. So answer is kind of D. Answer is D. Answer is D. Examiner asking not part of the conceptual framework. Conceptual framework ke part එකක් තමයි identifying what are the services you can provide without impact your integrity, objectivity. Safeguards that you can implement. Then identifying threats for auditor independence by performing non-audit services. All these are part. But evaluation of threats and things like that, it's not part of it. You have to separately do it. Okay? Look at 1.8, everybody. So this ethics, code of ethics, everybody go through. Code of ethics, what is independence? What are fundamental principles of ethics? What are threats to independence? What are the safeguards that you can implement? So all these students you have to go through, right? Right. See, 1.8 බලමු අපි. We will look at 1.8. Look at 1.8. Alpha PLC, it's a public company, recently established a risk management framework aimed at identifying and mitigating operational risk. Operational risk like fraud, IT system breakdown. So they have implemented the risk management framework to identify and mitigate operational risk. The Chief Risk Officer of AP has requested the Internal Audit Department to comment on implementing this framework. So Chief Internal Auditor asked what? To comment on this, implementing this framework. What role can Internal Audit Department play to ensure effective operation of this risk management framework without compromising their independence? Students, internal auditors are a review function. There is a separate topic for you as internal audit. Internal auditors are review function. They should not advise the management on implementation of anything. Only role that they can do is once something is implemented, they can review it whether it is being performing as per the laid down policies and procedures. Make implement karata passe policy procedures වලට මේක යනවද? Are there any exceptions? Are there any frauds happening? Are there any issues happening? Internal auditors can only do a review. They cannot recommend anything. Recommend කරන්න බෑ ළමයි, because then self interest threat will happen, because based on their recommendation, if the risk management process done, they can't subsequently review it. The self review threat is there. So to avoid self review threat, they have to only review it whether it is happening as per the laid down policies. So what is the role that internal auditors can do? A, participate in updating the risk management framework and risk management policies and implementing additional policies and controls. They can't implement lamai. They are not implementers. Implementers should be whom? Should be the risk management department. They are reviewers only. Review karnawa vitarai. Conduct reviews of the effectiveness of current risk management processes and provide recommendations for improvement only. Review kara, improvement recommendation kiwa echcharai lamai. Not participating in anything. Answer is B. B tamai answer. Ganithawa kiyu. actively manage the risks identified within the framework, thereby supporting the business process owners. No support to business process owners, no managing anything. That is C also out. D, implementing changes, implement the changes. Change implement karanna internal auditors are, they are reviewers only. So answer is B. एक answer का B lamai. So internal audit section, internal audit topic, right? International professional practice standards. Everybody go through how do you ensure internal audit independence? What are the reporting lines they need to have? What are the tasks they do? What are the functions they are doing? So how to make them independent? All these go through. Very important, right? Look at 1.9. P&D Chartered Accountants is planning to conduct a governance and culture audit. Right? They are planning to conduct a governance and culture audit at Black and Blue PLC. The firm, Chartered Accountants, is planning to conduct a governance and culture audit at Black and Blue PLC on the request of Black and Blue's Board of Directors. So governance and culture audit they are going to do. The board has requested a proposal outlining the scope of the governance and culture audit. Students, governance and culture. Governance means how the company is directed and controlled. The chairman, the board of directors, the board subcommittees, board balance, independent non-executive directors or executive directors, how is the balance? So you have a laid down corporate governance framework, right? Sri Lanka Code of Best Practice on Corporate Governance is there. On the other side, you have the company's implementation. So you need to evaluate that. So that's how you evaluate the governance and how the company culture is going on. So it's not financial statement audit, it is something else. Which of the following would be normally covered by a governance and culture audit? It's not financial statements basically, it's on how the company is structured, how the corporate governance is working, how the reporting lines are there, how the organizational culture is there. That's how. So, which of the following would be normally covered by a governance and culture audit? Governance and culture audit take monada cover. A. Details of the other entities that the directors are holding directorships. Details about other entities. Directors are holding ownerships. Yes, part because director independence should be established. Part. Always go for the most suitable answer. Quality standards and the governance of the suppliers and the company for the 3 years. Quality standards, governance of the suppliers. Yes, part. How much good quality raw materials you are obtaining. Yes, part of it. Behaviors of the customers of the company from whom most of the revenue is generated. Customer behavior, not much. Overall way that the organization is managed and controlled to achieve its vision and mission. That's governance, corporate governance. How the organization is managed and controlled, you have to evaluate. Answer is D. D is your answer for 1.9. 1.9 nagara answer ka D. Corporate governance under bala karna bhai, yeah? Look for corporate governance, everybody. Look at 110, the last MCQ question lamai. Solid Manufacturing PLC SM has a well-established internal audit department. Company has a well-established internal audit department with qualified and experienced staff. They have well-qualified and experienced staff. Right? They have a Solid Manufacturing PLC. Again, a kind of public company, well-established. They have a well-established internal audit department. Good review function is there. With qualified and experienced staff. That is also quite good. They apply a systematic approach for sample selection to evaluate. They are going with systematic sample selection to evaluate the effectiveness of internal controls. The head of internal audit directly reports findings to the board audit committee. That's good. He reports directly to the board audit committee, his findings. Committee every quarter. Quarterly, his findings are disseminated to the board audit committee. The audits are conducted as per the approved plan by audit committee. Audit committee laid down the approved internal audit plan. Internal audit charter is there. So based on that, the internal audits are done. So audit committee, internal auditors are reporting to the audit committee directly, not to the executive management. Which of the following factors should the external auditor, the audit firm, which of the following factors should the external auditor of SM prioritize when determining how to effectively use the internal audit work over control testing in the external audit? Now, there is a very robust and effective internal audit function is there, no? So the external auditors have to evaluate whether they can use those internal audit work for external audit purpose. There is a separate standard for that as well. Using the work of internal auditors. Standard auditing standard. How we can use the internal auditors' work? Are they experienced? The work done by them are quality? Are those work documented? Are those done properly? Are those having professional qualification, experience? See, මොනවද ඔයා consider කරන්න ඕන as an external auditor when you are using internal auditors' work for your own audit purpose? Evaluating the sample selecting approach of the internal auditor for control testing, including coverage of the area of relevance. Evaluate the sample selection approach of the internal auditor. මේගොල්ලෝ sample selection approach එක මොකක්ද? What's the coverage of it? And the area of relevance. පොඩක් answer එක වගේ. See, whether external auditors, whether when they are using the work of internal auditors for external audit purpose, sample selection process එක බලන්න ඕන. How do they use it? What is the basis for selecting samples? Part B. Timeliness of the submission of internal audit reports to the board audit committee. Timeliness, the deadline meeting should be, but not to that extent. Qualification and ages of the internal audit staff conducting internal audit. Qualification, yes, but the age ඕනේ නැහැ නේ ළමයි. Experience තිබුණා නම් හරි age එක බලන්න නැහැ. Evaluating whether the internal auditor is actively involved in designing and implementing relevant internal controls. Internal auditors are not involved in designing and implementing internal controls. They are reviewing it. So, එකත් part එකක් නෙමෙයි. Answer is A. Evaluating the sample selection approach of the internal auditor for control testing, including area of coverage. Answer is A. Using the work of internal auditor තමයි standard එක ළමයි. That's the auditing standard. මේ ඔක්කොම අපි කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. We discussed all. Okay. So today in our discussion as the kind of launching of this questions discussion for 2024 December paper for corporate level students, we have identified the 10 MCQ questions, multiple choice questions, and we developed answers for those. So these answers, while we are developing the answers, we went to the relevant theory. And you know, this is not rocket science. These are very easy, simple, harmless questions. Good job, everybody. So let's meet up in another video with another set of questions, and we will continue our revision questions discussion further as well. So thanks for continuing with Infinity, and we'll meet up in next video. Thank you.